This is Vietnam, one of the top locations in the world for caving explorations due to the unique karst limestone formations that are found in the area. Today I'm going to show you a video of one of my recent travels to Vietnam. I went there with my friend Sarah to check out Phong Nha Kabang National Park. This is the home of Oxalis Adventures, a company that leads people on caving expeditions to some of the more remote caves in the park. Hey guys, I'm here walking along the Son River just outside the little town of Phong Nha where we're staying. We have a few days before our expedition to Hang Va Cave starts, so we're going to travel around a little bit by motorbike and take some videos to show you what it's like. Hope you enjoy. Here's Sarah and I getting ready to take off on a little motorbike tour. One of the things I love most about Vietnam is just the ability to jump on a bike and cruise through the mountains and the little villages. Just checking out the scenery and seeing all the local people, especially like the kids playing in the street. It's always super fun. The best thing about cruising on a motorbike is just some of the amazing scenery you can see in and around the park. There are karst mountains stretching into the distance almost everywhere you look, and some really beautiful clear rivers running through lush green rice fields. We stayed at a cute little homestay just on the edge of the Son River, which had easy access, so it was fun to go out, stand up paddleboarding, and sometimes watching the kids play in the river was fun. At one point, we even got boarded by a bunch of cute little Vietnamese pirate boys who took our paddleboards and ran off with them. Our expedition to Hang Va Cave started early in the morning as our little tour group took a walk through the jungle to get to the cave entrance. It was just a short little hike, but as we got closer to the cave, we could see the mountains rising up in the distance, and we could feel the cool air coming in from the cave, which was a welcome relief after hiking in the hot sun. While we were waiting for our lunch to be prepared, we took a few moments to go explore some of the little areas around the cave and found some interesting little pools with fish in them and some really pretty local butterflies as well. Next up, it was time for our little picnic lunch at the mouth of the cave, which was pretty fun. After our meal, I got a chance to try out some of the local beauty products, which also doubled as a delicious snack. But I think the rest of the members of our tour group thought we were a little bit weird.
You're gross.
The first part of getting into the cave entrance involved a lot of scrambling over rocks and crawling through tight spaces. But once we got inside, it really opened up into this vast, almost desert-like environment. There were massive, wide-open chambers that had almost like sand dunes inside of them, but more dusty. Eventually, we got into some areas that had a little more typical cave-type limestone formations that most people are used to. But as we proceeded, the chamber got more and more narrow and began to resemble a dry riverbed, which made sense because the guides had already told us that eventually we would end up swimming through an underground river at the end of the day. At one point, we reached an area that had some really interesting stalactites and stalagmites, so the guides set up some lights and let us take some really cool dramatic photos. One of the interesting things about caving is sometimes finding these weird little creatures that exist in this environment with almost no light, like this little cave worm that we found here with its snack. There were some pretty creepy looking spiders too, but for the most part they left us alone. And this strange little phosphorescent amphipod, as well as a dead jeweled scarab beetle. There was also some pretty interesting fungus growing on some of the decaying wood and other materials that took on kind of strange forms because of the lack of any real wind or other forces shaping them. Finally, we made it to the area we could actually start hearing and seeing some of the beautiful water that was running through the cave, which was crystal clear and had this shining jade emerald color to it. One of the things I like about visiting caves that have rivers in them is just the way that the light from your headlamps plays off the water and the reflections with all the colorful rocks under the water. It's really pretty. Eventually the river opened up into a little bit bigger area where there was actually a little waterfall. And so a lot of people decided to stop and take a swim there. And Sarah took this opportunity to show us some of her professional swimming technique.
Hey, Sarah, swimming in the cave. Woo. Careful, don't get my light wet.
After our little swimming break, it was time to venture further up into the cave, which means that at this point we had to start walking in the river. It wasn't too bad at first because mostly we were just wading in some knee to thigh deep water, but at least the fact that we were already wet and standing in water made it a little bit easier to have a bathroom break.
Yes, sir. Take the pee. Over the cave. So weird. See, she's fixing her pants. She just peed.
However, as we went further up the river, eventually we had to start swimming for real. And once again, Sarah showed off some of her expert swimming techniques. As the water got even deeper, it really became a lot more blue and turquoise colored, which is really pretty with all the light shining off of the water, bouncing off to the cool formations on the ceiling. We got to check out some of the stalactites as we were swimming by. The whole thing was very tiring considering all the heavy gear that we had on.
That's some cold water.
Finally, we reached the end point of our journey for the day, and we took off all of our now water-soaked gear, and we were all pretty soaking wet and pretty cold too.
What do you think about caving, Phil?
Caving rock.
After a quick moment to check our makeup and do a little aura cleanse, we had time to take some super sexy caving photos for you guys. So I hope you enjoy. There was one last technical ascent left to get over the rocks and get out of the cave. We were ready to hit the campsite and dry off and take a much needed break. We were a little wet and exhausted at that point, but overall it was a super fun and adventurous experience being inside the cave all day and coming back to our very comfortable campsite in the middle of the jungle. Check out the next video for day 2.